Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 2127. Be prepared to be inspired.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. Guess where I am today? I'm in Costa Rica with a very special guest by the name of Danilo Coto Cruz. Danilo, welcome to Cars Yeah. Do you have any gear, and are you ready to release the clutch?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, one thing is kind of fun. The day we're recording this, I didn't know this, but is a special day for you folks there.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about NXR. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. It's like we have 7 different, like a state. We said provinces. 200 years ago, this small province attached to Costa Rica or annexed, we said annexion. And this is a special province because this province has a lot of culture, a lot of food, a lot of good beaches, and the atmosphere and the people is fantastic. And they represent a lot of our heritage, the people from the country. And it's fantastic that we are celebrating now in this month this annexion of this province. Guanacaste is the name of the province to the country of Costa Rica, yes.
Beautiful part of the world. Well, before I give you a proper introduction, Danilo, share one little thing that maybe people don't know about you.
Okay, I am 51 years old and I have 2 different college degrees. I am an engineer agriculture and I am a construction engineer. That maybe the people don't know about me.
Okay, yeah, because what we're going to talk about today is a very interesting business that you do, and we'll explain that in a moment, but very interesting. So construction engineer and agriculture, and there's a lot of things grown in your part of the world that are transported around the world, right?
Yeah. Costa Rica is very important for agriculture. We export coffee since almost 250 years ago. And our coffee is one of the most important coffees in the world. So agriculture is very, very important here in Costa Rica, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we'll do a shout out, nice little segue for us, Danilo, to a mutual friend who introduced me to you, Eduardo Santelas. Eduardo, of course, is Dusseldorf Cafe, and he was nice enough to send me some of that. In fact, I'm sipping on a cup of it right now. It's absolutely delicious. And for you listeners, Eduardo put a special deal out there where you can get a 15% discount. So if you go to Dusseldorf Cafe, that's DIESELDORFF and then KAFFEE.com and use the code MARKCARSYEah on their website, you'll get 15% off their delicious coffee. What a deal. Have a cup today. I'll make sure I put a note about that. You can follow me on social media and try some of the delicious coffee from your part of the world because it is awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Eduardo is a very close friend of mine. He's a very special guy, absolutely, and his wife is amazing,
Yeah, fun things. Well, let's get started on your world. Danilo Coto Cruz is the founder of PACTO, where he makes vintage-style racing helmets, gloves, visors, and shoes. His handcrafted goods are born from a time past, made through a carefully crafted and elaborated process, creating a true sentiment of a golden era for automotive fanatics all over the world. Danilo is a construction engineer, as he mentioned, also involved in agriculture, but he started PACTO because of his passion for vintage sports racing. He's been collecting and restoring vintage motorcycles since 1998. There's a little tie to our mutual friend Eduardo. He loves motorcycles too. He builds marques including Norton, BSA, Triumph, Zundap, Lambretta, and the German NSU. Very fascinating. We'll learn more about Danilo and PACTO, but first a word from our valued sponsors, so give them a little listen, and we'll be right back. I love Covercraft's new 5-layer all-climate cover. It was developed and engineered for anything Mother Nature can throw our way. It's very soft, breathable, and easy to store and pampers your paint and interior surfaces, providing maximum UV, rain, dust, and snow protection. Add their gust guards for windy conditions for extra protection. Their 5-layer all-climate cover is custom-tailored with Covercraft's attention to detail, form and fit with a quality and attention that's been their standard since 1965. Covercraft protects cars, trucks, motorcycles, RVs, trailers, and watercraft too. Every one of my vehicles is protected by a Covercraft cover. And I have a deal for you. Use the code YEAH21 at covercraft.com and you'll get 10% off your Covercraft order plus free shipping. That's right, 10% off and free shipping. Just type in the word YEAH, Y-E-A-H, 21 at checkout, YEAH21 at covercraft.com. Covercraft, protecting the things that move you. I was tired of my rates for my collector car insurance going up every year for no explainable reason. My carrier seemed to be turning into a media company versus an insurance company, and I realized that a portion of my policy premium was paying for all those so-called free media goodies. So I did my homework, I talked to knowledgeable collectors, shopped around, and discovered American Collectors Insurance. They've been serving the collector car hobby since 1976. You last that long by properly serving your customers' insurance need, not with a lot of fluff. ACI is ranked the #1 online collector car insurance provider according to Google, Trustpilot, Facebook, and they offer their real person guarantee live support. No never-ending phone loops when you need help. Plus, because you don't use your classic car as a daily driver, you could save up to 40% compared to regular auto insurance. American Collectors Insurance provides agreed value policies. So if you experience a total loss to your collector vehicle or it's stolen, you'll be paid the amount listed on your declaration page, less any deductibles, of course. No ifs, ands, or buts. Give them a call today and ask for your free quote at 866-ACI-YEAH. That's 866-224-9324. Tell them you're a friend of mine, Mark Greens at Cars Yeah. American Collectors Insurance. Classic car insurance designed by collectors for collectors. So Danilo, we are back. So I would love to learn more about how PACTO started, because here's a guy who's a obviously very smart man, engineer, working in that world, but you have a passion for cars. And maybe before we get into how PACTO started, I'd like to learn a little bit more about this passion you have for cars and for old motorcycles. Where did this all come from?
Yeah, when I was about 18 years old, in my neighborhood, there was a guy with a absolutely disaster car, Ford 55. It was a sedan, 4 doors, but these people welded the rear doors and cut the roof. But the car was destroyed. But my brother told me, would you like to buy this car? Maybe we can rebuild it and have fun with the car. And I said, yes, of course. And also my father involved in this project. So we bought this 55 Ford Fairlane, 4 doors, but was with the welded rear doors and cut the roof. The people before, the owner that owns this car, cut the roof. So we rebuilt this car, and I enjoyed this car a lot for 25 years. It was amazing moments at the beach, at my wedding, many TV commercials I did with this car, friends, party, whatever you can name it. It was very fun. But this car involved me in the vintage world. And maybe 2 years after I bought the car or restored the car, I saw a vintage bike. It was a very, very uncommon bike. It was an NSU. It's not a very famous or like a common, not a common bike, but it was a very unique bike. So I bought this first bike and I restored it. And so this was the main connection with vintage motorbikes. And I bought one another. And here comes my connection with the helmets. When I bought the second bike, it was a Sundap Boxer bike. I bought this bike from the owner, the first owner. And when I bought the bike, this guy had a helmet, a vintage helmet holding in his wall at the garage. And I said to him, can I also buy the helmet from you? And he said, no, I'm sorry, I will keep the helmet. because it's a great memories for me to keep this helmet, and I can sell the bike, but I cannot sell the helmet. So 4 months after, I returned to this guy and I said, okay, I have money here. I have cash for you, and I will love to buy your helmet. and he said, no, I'm sorry. If you pay me 4 times that you pay for the bike, I will say no. Please don't
ask me.
Don't ask me again. So I understood, of course, that he doesn't want to sell the helmet.
Yeah.
And maybe 1 or 2 or 3 years after, I had an invitation from the NSU club in Germany. I was very excited because it was my first trip to Europe.
Wow.
So I had a rally only with NSU Consul. NSU Consul is the model from one cylinder, single cylinder, and 500 cc's. And we had a trip, very nice trip, with more than 100 NSU Consul 500 in Germany. So when I finished the rally, I asked one of the guys, one of my friends there in Germany, that I would love to buy one of the vintage German helmets. And the guy said, yes, I will take you to an antique store, and I bought my first helmet, and I was very, very happy because I brought to my home and I admired this helmet very much, and I took to my office, my engineer office, and put in front of my desk and see this helmet all the time. So this was my first connection with vintage helmets.
Wow. The NSU motorcycle, or as it was known, Motoren Werk, and my German is terrible. That's an interesting company because it was founded back in 1873 and then it was acquired by Volkswagen Group.
Yeah.
All the way as late as the name in 69, but it really kind of went defunct then. But of course, also I believe they merged with Auto Union, became Audi. I mean, there's some interesting ties to that motorcycle that I didn't know about until I was doing a little research when we first connected. And I went, I didn't know this about that. But let's go back to PACTO, because I used to have a couple of those helmets. I had some vintage motorcycles in the past that I used to park in my office, and just as kind of, they were beautifully restored. I didn't ride them because I was riding newer bikes. I had an MV Agusta F4 and a Ducati Monster.
Amazing.
But these old, beautiful bikes, they're like works of art. And according to our mutual friend Eduardo, you ride your bikes, right?
Yeah, every day. I love riding bikes.
Good for you.
Yeah, I don't have much space here in my home, but I have others in other places, in other garages. But I love to ride, for example, a very light scooter like a Lambretta 150.
Oh, yes.
It's a beautiful scooter from 1957, and also a big 750 Norton.
My gosh.
I love to ride. Yeah, they're amazing bikes, very strong bikes, very reliable bikes, and it's a very passion to try to fix if something's wrong, for cables and to oil parts and everything. It's a beautiful world. I love it.
Is there a pretty strong following of people in Puerto Rico that have vintage bikes that you guys get together and do rides and tours and rallies, or just get-togethers?
Yeah, we used to do this in the past, not much as all days, but we try to have meetings here in Costa Rica. I am a president of the Vintage Motorcycle Club here in Costa Rica. So I try to have meetings of bikes and everything, yeah.
I love it. So let's get into PACTO. You finally got the helmet you wanted when you had to go all the way to Germany for that one.
Yeah.
And you brought it home, and I would guess you sat there and you looked at that and you looked at it. Is that what spurred the dream for PACTO?
Yeah, this first helmet was my inspiration. I think the helmet shows you a lot of action, a lot of danger, a lot of adrenaline. It's an item that you can feel many things. So I start collecting helmets since I bought my first helmet in Germany. Maybe the second helmet was a Cromwell, that it was very famous in the US in the 50s, that you can race bikes and you can race cars with these British helmets. But after this, I met some important people in London who used to sell helmets, vintage helmets. So I learned that the most important helmets were in the 50s. I mean, in the 50s, in the 60s, the most important in Europe was the English or the British helmets. Because the German, when they raced the F1 events, or the GP events, they race with British helmets. And the Italian, for example, Agostini, in Italy, they had a big industry of helmets, AGV and many others. Agostini raced with British helmets. And all the guys in the world, the US guys, raced with British helmets in the 50s. So I started collecting British helmets because I learned from this guy that the British industry was the most important helmet in the 50s and 60s for professional events, rallies, GP and F1. Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful. So when you decided to start to make these, and I look at your website, which is beautiful, by the way, and the products that you make are absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
These are primarily used by people that do current vintage rallying and touring and things like that because they have that old world feel.
Yeah. When I began PACTO, the people don't want to buy a lot because the registration, the standards of the helmet. My helmet is not with the standards because my helmet is made or is produced exactly as a remake of the 50s helmet, with cork inside, the same fiberglass, the same buckle, the same leather, exactly the same. But now, all the events in the world, the people trying to dress, occur the golden era, for example.
Right.
And they want to ride bike or cars with a special jacket, with a special shoes, with a special goggles, not with a very cheap goggles, like maybe 25 years old that you can put any goggles that you have here in your home. The people looking for special items. This fashion or this movement or this wave came from Asia. The first people in maybe, 15 or 20 years ago, the Asian people trying to dress correctly with the car and with the bike. And the moves goes to Europe, and now America is more common that you can see, for example, in the California Mille, for example, or events like Pebble Beach. You can see people wearing special items, vintage items that you cannot see in other years before.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You're bringing back that history and the fun and the enjoyment. And you also get involved with bags and gloves and shoes and trousers and all this. So talk a little bit about rounding out your offering to those of us who love old vintage cars.
Yes, I start with helmets. I start with the helmets from the 60s, and then I came earlier with the 50s racing helmets, and then people start to ask you, why you don't make this and why you don't make that? So I start making shoes, not the regular shoes that you can buy in the market. I special in the handmade shoes. I study a lot of the racing shoes history. It's not very easy to understand or to study the history of the racing shoe, for example. So I focus on this history, for example, shoes. I'm talking about shoes. The first shoes is from the athletic, any sports. So the people use the same shoe for any sports. But the people in England make some changes to drive cars and after to racing cars with this first design in England in the 30s, in the late 30s. So I study everything, all the details, and I can also customize these shoes for the customers.
Wow.
And the customers loves this because I want the flag of my team. I want the flag of my country. I want my capital initials in part of my shoes so I can make it. It's very easy for me to make one pair for these special people. Of course, the price is not very cheap, but it's not very high also. But it's affordable. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And they're beautiful and stunning and bring back that era. And then, of course, driving gloves, which are one of those things that were very popular back in the day because the old cars typically were not ventilated very well. You got a little hot and sweaty and you need to be able to grip them. Your beautiful stringback gloves are beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And the prices are extremely reasonable when I look on your website.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're doing some cool things. And you've evolved also into trousers, I guess we should say, kind of pants that kind of go with that era. And I mean, you kind of got the whole package.
Yeah. Now I have to make the goggles, but it's very, very hard to make. I've been working with this project with goggles for more than 5 years, but it's not finished yet. Yeah, it's very, very hard to make. Only the Italians can make a good goggles in the world in history.
Well, I have a feeling we're going to see some great ones coming out of your shop as well. And then the helmets themselves, can people order bespoke helmets that are designed just for them? Okay.
Yes, most of my orders are customized. Maybe the 90% of the products that I made are customized because the people loves to see the process and to make the helmet with me. I also said to customers that I cannot make your helmet only myself. I love to make the project together with the customer. So the customer loves to see when I put, for example, the Rover trim, or I put the logos or the names or the flags, or even the blood types. Many people order. Yes, many people order the blood types in the helmet, and they love to make the project with me because I love to make the project with the customers. Yeah.
It's really wonderful what you're doing. We're going to come back and I've got some more questions for you, but first we're going to take a break from our sponsors. So keep that in mind and we'll be right back. Wonderful story.
Okay.
AutoGeek's Blackfire SiO2 spray sealant. It's a spray-on, wipe-off sealant that's quick, safe, and easy to clean and protect your vehicles. I love using it on all my cars. AutoGeek's Blackfire SiO2 spray sealant is a spray-on, wipe-away sealant that uses SiO2 ingredients to provide a slick, brilliant, and long-lasting shine. Silicon dioxide is known to be one of the most effective ingredients in car care products, and Blackfire spray sealant takes advantage of every stunning feature it has to offer. This sealant will protect your paint from road film, dirt, and other common contaminants while providing an impeccable, long-lasting, hydrophobic surface that forces water to sheet and bead on your paint for months. Go to autogeek.net to get yours and for the best product selections on the internet today, along with their skilled technical support. Autogeek.net is where I go for all my detailing needs. That's autogeek.net. Check them out today. Linkage. It's a new quarterly publication and website that covers the automotive market, driving, restoring, collecting, and discovering your passion for motor vehicles. Linkage is about experiences, opinions, and values. Linkage is an actual informed, reasoned opinion based on first-hand experiences. A talented linkage team covers the automotive world, the people who share your passion and mine, smart, considered, rational, and experienced opinions, ones you can learn from and grow. That includes our passion that drives auctions and the collector car market. So come with me and join us on this journey. And be sure to use the code CARSYEAH when you subscribe, and they'll give you $10 off. Boom! Linkage, geared for the automotive life. Subscribe today at linkagemag.com. Cars Yeah has teamed up with TechForce Foundation, one of our charities of choice, to help young people who love cars, problem solving, and working with their hands pursue careers as professional technicians. From auto, collision, and restoration techs to motorcycle boats, race cars, and aviation, TechForce covers the gamut of technician opportunities. Technical education and the skills trades matter, and we need qualified, skilled technicians to keep our vehicles rolling. Learn how you can help to power the technical workforce at techforce.org today. So, Danilo, we are back. I'd love to learn a little bit about how where your inspiration has come from. This inspiration for your passion for old cars and creating the PACTO brand.
Yeah, my inspiration was, I don't know, I think I'm very, I love to see people dressing correct items with the vehicle or motorcycle that they are riding. I love this scene, this picture of people. And I think this was my main inspiration. When I bought my first bike, I always thought that I need a correct helmet for riding my bike. And when I saw some different events in the world, and I saw people driving a super special cars, and they are, for example, riding with the wrong helmet, I said, oh my God, they should have a correct period items, or a helmet, or gloves or shoes. But this is not easy, of course. But it was my inspiration, trying to sell the period correct items from people to the people who wants to dress correctly. Maybe it's very picky, my idea, or very crazy, but it was my first idea. Yeah, And now I found people who are trying to find period correct items and how it works. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I think it's great. Let's talk a little bit about a challenge. This could be in business life. It doesn't really matter. It's more important to talk about what the challenge was, of course, but how you overcame it. And then even more importantly, what did it teach you?
Yeah, you can imagine how hard it was. It was a very, very hard to make my first helmet. Of course, the helmet was my first item. And it took me 3 years from the first day that I said, I will make a helmet. And when I have the helmet finished in my hands, it took me 3 years.
Wow.
I was very disappointed. I failure. I have problems. I have many hard talks with different engineers in different companies. For example, the people who make the fiberglass, the people who make the rubber, the people who make the leather parts, the stitches. I have problems every single day.
Yeah.
Because the people don't want to help me, because I am thinking only one helmet. And when you go to the company and you said, I need a piece of rubber, the owner of the company said, you want a piece of rubber, but you want only for one helmet.
Right. Yeah. We only sell massive amounts of rubber for helmets.
Nobody wants to help you.
Right.
So I was very, very disappointed with the project, and I failed many times with my project, but finished. I have my helmet, and I wear my helmet very happy. And I put the pictures on my Facebook, Danilo Coto Facebook, and I tell all my friends, I finished my helmet. I can ride my helmet. This was my first happy day. So immediately a guy from the UK sent me an email and said, I would like to make an order from you of helmets.
It begins.
Maybe 100 helmets will be good for me. And this is the start and how it started. I never thought that I will make helmets for people.
Whoa.
I only thought one helmet for me.
Wow.
So it was very unexpected moment, for me.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a cool story. Yeah. Out of passion springs a brand and dreams built for other people. That's an awesome story. I know, you touched on this vehicle when we began. I like to ask my guests about a special vehicle in their life. That 55 Ford Fairlane, was that your special vehicle?
Yes, of course. I had it for 25 years. I enjoyed this car many. It was wonderful to have this car. It was fantastic.
But you finally let it go.
Yeah, I let it go because it's too big. I don't know if it's unfortunately or fortunately, I was very connected with the sports cars. And I love sports cars. I love light cars, two-seat cars, spiders. Of course, you go to this event, and then after you go to this event, and you go and you see more and more and more, and your priorities changing. It's because for example, you like watches. I don't know. The first watch is not maybe the watch you want right now.
Yeah.
It's the same. Of course, I don't have the money enough to buy a expensive car. The cars now are very, very expensive.
Oh gosh, everything's expensive right now.
Absolutely, it's very expensive right now. But I was very lucky to find a car right now that I am restoring right now, and I'm very happy with this project.
What is the new project?
The new project is a Devin. It's a Devin D project.
A Devin,
it's
awesome.
A race car, very light car, and I love the history. Even Costa Rica made these cars in the 60s. It's amazing. I have pictures of this company in Costa Rica made 5 different Devin Ds in 1960s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Even the owner, now the new owner of Devin doesn't know this. Yeah, so this connection with Devin, the Costa Rica produced these cars, and I found the car in the province that I born. I love the idea to make this car again. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, the gentleman you referred to is Kevin Callahan, who's the managing partner at Devin Sports Cars. Regular listeners will remember he was a guest back in 2020. I guess number 1656. And he talked about how he's resurged that brand and brought it back, which I was excited because I always thought of the Devon as this beautiful kind of miniature Ferrari sports car, classic vintage cars.
Yeah.
People still drive them today. Fascinating. Well, I can't wait to see yours when it's done. So, Danilo, I'm going to be your car psychologist today. I'm going to crawl into your head a little bit here.
Okay.
If you were reincarnated or manifest as a vehicle, what would Danilo be, but more importantly, why?
I think maybe I will be like a rural, or I don't say this is the word in English, but the countryside car maybe, because I love people. For example, a Land Rover, a vintage Land Rover.
Ah, okay.
I love to, when the people see these cars, they connect a lot because it's a countryside or a utility car, that many people, my mother, for example, she had a great connection with Land Rovers because she used to travel to the beaches in the 50s in these cars with a lot of dust and dirty and, because they were open cars.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe a Land Rover I will be happy to be a Land Rover.
Well, I like the reason behind that. And you're involved right now in restoring one of those, right?
Yes, I'm restoring it's a very long project. I'm restoring a Land Rover Series 2 from 1960. Yes, a petrol gasoline engine.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, very cool. Some fun projects that you got going on. Now, is there a great book that you'd share with our listeners?
I've been in this market of vintage for more than 20 years, and I always recommend to my friends a price guide. Maybe sounds stupid, but I always recommend to my friends a price guide, like a motorcycle price guide or car price guide, because some projects are very expensive right now, and maybe your car not deserve. Of course, if you are a special connection with the car or romantic connection with your vehicle, it will be fantastic that you can spend whatever you want. But if you are looking for a project or a car that can, you are happy with it, I recommend that you should learn about the value of the car. I think it's very important. I don't know if it sounds very material or stupid, but...
Well, I've heard from many, many guests on this show to never buy a car with the expectations that you will make money on it.
Yeah.
Unless you're an automotive dealer, and that if that's your underlying reason for a car, a classic car, you've got the wrong reason. You need to pick something that's passionate to you, that's fun, that you won't worry about that. Now, if you're fortunate enough to make some money on it down the road, then that's pretty good. But you're right, price guides are important, and I think your guidance here is important if somebody is new to the old car market, to really get an understanding of the true value so you don't overpay for a vehicle.
Yes, it's very important.
Yeah, because now, used cars, even regular cars, but collector cars, their valuations have gone through the roof. And
absolutely.
In some cases, those things will level off and you will have bought something that was worth the money. But in some cases, they won't. They'll plummet in value. And you may be left when the proverbial music stops without a chair to sit in and go, oh man, I overpaid for that vehicle. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The other guidance I give people is to reach out to car clubs. If you're interested in old Fords, get involved with an old Ford car club.
Absolutely.
And talk with people and learn about these things. And that's the way to do it. So I'm going to enable you to go on the ultimate drive today. I'm going to buy you any car in the world, Danilo. That's a pretty cool deal. Plus, you get to be driving it anywhere, and you get to be with anybody, even somebody who's passed. So what does the ultimate ride or drive, since you like to ride motorcycles, look like for you?
It sounds very funny, but I will love to ride or to be with Paddy Hopkirk.
Oh, okay.
He passed away just 3 days ago.
Oh,
and
I'm sorry. Oh, my gosh.
I met him in a 60 years anniversary of Mini in London, and we were talking for a while. I love this moment. It was a fantastic experience to talk with him because he raced the Rally World Cup in 1970 from London to Mexico. It was a 27 and 100 kilometers rally. It was crazy, and he told me when he crossed Costa Rica, in that moment, because he put the cars in Argentina and goes up to Mexico very, very fast in that moment. So I think my ultimate ride will be with Paddy Hopkirk. Absolutely.
You know, I didn't realize that we just lost him. Yeah, he just passed away on July 21st of this year. And
yes,
of course, he was a well-known rally driver from Northern Ireland.
Yes.
Amazing guy. And I mean, he did so many cool things. But yeah, Paddy Hopkirk, born Patrick Baron Hopkirk, was an amazing guy, automotive history. That's pretty cool. So, you know, nice tribute to him. And what he left behind for all of us and his passion. I mean, he's just one of those guys that when you look at pictures of him, he just looks so happy all the time. Big smile on his face.
So. He's very, very friendly. I had a great moment because I just went to him and reached him and said, "Hey, hello, I want to say hello to you. I'm from Costa Rica." And he was super friendly with me. He told me all the story when he crossed the rally in the world. And we took very emotional moments. I remember him with a lot of passion, yes.
How fun that would be.
Yeah.
Danilo, you've taken us on a wonderful ride today, and I can't thank you enough for sharing the amazing PACTO business that you've created. It is such a wonderful, cool story in so many ways. It fits the dynamics of why I started this podcast. Before I let you go, could you share maybe parting words of inspiration or advice for our listeners?
Yeah, my advice about the production of my items, because many people told you that you have to make a lot of things. You have to make many helmets. You have to make many shoes. You don't have to focus in make one pair of shoes. And I think my advice to the people is be small is more happy. Small business are happier. I think I enjoyed very much this small business because the people can feel it. Your passion. You are not making this for money, for make money. Just you make this because you are a passion person.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great piece of advice, and you know that's how many even great companies, big companies start is this small passion. And I love your guys there at PACTO saying, which is made by enthusiasts and worn by enthusiasts.
Yes. This is my word. Yeah.
That's definitely what PACTO is all about. I'll put links to Danilo's business, and it's easy to find, PACTO, P-A-C-T-O. There's also some great videos there you can watch that show the passion that's going on. And of course, a big shout out, thank you again to our mutual friend, Eduardo Santella, for introducing me. Again, a reminder about a special 15% offer that Eduardo has offered through September to my listeners. I'll put links to that on the show notes page. Just go to Dieseldorf Cafe, DIESELDORFF, and then KAFFEE. Put in the code MARKCARS, and our friend will give you 15% off your Dieseldorf Cafe order. It's delicious. I'm sipping on a cup right now. You're going to want to give it a try. Danilo, thank you for being so generous today with your time and expertise. What a wonderful story you share with us today.
Thank you.
Happy Anexar Day in Costa Rica for all of you and your folks there. Wonderful celebration going on down there.
Thank you.
De nada. Until you and I talk again, my friend, I'll see you down the road.
Oh, thank you, Mark. I enjoyed very much talking to you, talking about PACTO and about my passion, about our little country in the world, but with a lot of passion, that is Costa Rica.
Absolutely.
I would like to close with Juan Manuel Fangio words that he said. He said that you must always strive to be the best, but you must never believe that you are. I think these words are amazing. From Juan Manuel Fangio, yeah.
You know, I got to very briefly meet him at the very first Monterey Historics I went to. He was a featured guy there. Now, this had to be 30 plus years ago. Dates me a bit. Yeah. I know it was over 30 years ago because I've gone there so many times. Yeah. But he was there signing posters and things and got to meet him, which was quite a wonderful thing. What a life he had as well. So, yes, strive to be the best that you can be, but don't act like it. So there you go. Yeah. Danilo, muchas gracias for spending time with me today. This was absolutely fantastic.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mark. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah!